to a place and you see this gorgeous woman, right? And you know, the way I think as a man is I'm not letting nobody sleep with my chick, right? Like, so even going through it the first time, I'm believing it's what it is. Like they just want some sort of little baby all play, and then it spins into what they're gonna get involved in.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just a real life street Starz. You know what time it is.
When you seen, you know, the Diddy, the feds hitting his home, and like the video coming out of his, like, what were your initial thoughts? Like, just seeing all that happening, so like the drug use and all that.
Yeah. So my initial thoughts was the way they were playing. The media in New York City was that in his home he had videotapes of celebrities, like just a bunch of celebrities doing stuff, underage kids. They were saying crazy stuff, right? So me seeing them run up in the house or whatever, I'm thinking they're looking for these videotapes. It was all this talk that he was blackmailing people and extorting people, which obviously we know it just turned out being threats to his girlfriend. But I bought into what the media was saying, that he had high profile celebrities and politicians like on these tapes, and they ran in his house looking for that evidence, you know? So coming out with Baby Oil and Astroglide was like, I didn't get it.
At any point when you saw this happen, did you think you would be involved?
Not at all, man. I mean, a lot of people looking at my testimony saying, why did they even put him up there? Right? You know, because, you know, I didn't see any violence, right? I couldn't really corroborate anything that testified that seemed like a crime. So I'm still not completely clear to what my involvement was or see how I tied in other than a pattern of behavior, you know?
So at any point, because when you were initially hired, you were hired to basically create a romantic scene, correct?
Yeah, that was the first thing explained to me. They call up as if they're gonna hire just a male stripper for a striptease, but when I walked in, explained to me she was trying to set a scene. So that's correct. So
at that time, you really didn't know or feel like you were being hired to sleep with anyone or to an act of prostitution?
No, man, honestly, man, I didn't even understand it, right? You show up to a place and you see this gorgeous woman, right? And you know, the way I think as a man is I'm not letting nobody sleep with my chick, right? Like, so even going through it the first time, I'm believing it's what it is. Like they just want some sort of little baby all play, and then it spins into what they're gonna get involved in. And that's why the first time there wasn't even any sex or anything that went on. I tried to play it by the book because it didn't even make sense to me why somebody would want somebody to sleep with their woman. You know, a woman this gorgeous and a guy obviously this rich, even though I didn't know who it was, but you could tell by the hotel and the situation that they were well-to-do.
So you initially said that you didn't sleep with her because you were professional, correct?
Yeah.
And so at any point, do you really feel like you were a prostitute, or you were just at that point hired to be part of, I guess, their fantasy? Or really, like, you started off being a model or an actor, did you feel like you were just continually being an actor more so than a prostitute?
Yeah, I mean, by definition, right, I'm getting paid for sex, so it is what it is. But I honestly never looked at it from let's say a prostitution standpoint, right? This was like a nuanced opportunity for me, right? So it's not something I was involved in. So it started out like a baby all, but once the second time came around and it was questions of, hey, are you tested? You know, what's your health thing? You know, she was me her health thing. I knew it was gonna lead to sex, but I never in my mind played it as, all right, I'm doing prostitution. My ego was like, I created this story like, all right, Diddy gets all these girls, he probably messes with a bunch of chicks, and now he's giving his girl a chance, like kind of like an even, all right, babe, we gonna let you have some fun. Right. And I thought I was the dude, right? So I kind of played in my mind as just like a scenario, and I didn't see it as just like as transactional as it actually was.
Now, obviously, you're walking into this room. You're seeing this beautiful woman. Did you at any time be like, I hope it goes down?
So, seeing her?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right, because you know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like that's almost like a
right.
Like for a male stripper, that's a fantasy, right? Like you show up to these parties and a bunch of old ladies, and you know what I'm saying? And
for sure.
So you in the back of your mind, like a dream scenario is to show up and it's this super beautiful woman, and it translates to that. The part that wasn't in the fantasy was the hubby whacking in the background. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that was the part I wasn't ready for.
How often, and I just got to go off on tangent. How often do you get a scenario where you're coming in to entertain a woman that is beautiful? Like, does that happen? What's the percentages?
So, I say it's like a 10% ratio. Right?
Damn, that's awfully low, brother.
That's low, bro. It's low. It's a 10% ratio. Right. So in that 10% ratio, you're gonna get, so yeah, it's low, bro. So yeah, like 1 out of every 10 is a dime, you know?
How are you able to work under those conditions? You know, like you get 10% and then there's someone, she could be overly large or not very attractive. How are you able to still continue?
Well, so again, man, just to clarify, I was a stripper. So
right.
So it don't matter, right? If Big Shirley got the bread, then Big Shirley's gonna dance, right?
No, but see, here's it. You know, as a male, we're visual creatures. So, like, I always wonder, is it a way to cut that off? Like, because they want to be able to feel like that they're attractive to you. Like, I liken it to if I went into a strip club and when the woman comes and sits on my lap, I don't want her to feel like she's here for my bread. I kind of want to be romanced. As your attorney, I'm gonna ask you to take the fifth.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, it's spot on, right? So what you got to do is you got to shift from your personal attraction and you got to make it about ego.
Right.
So
I'm finna wear this motherfucker out.
At the end of
real peace shit right there, man.
Bro, you gotta make it about ego. I'm to do all you every now all you fellas probably experience being somewhere with your fly gear on or whatever the case may be, and a woman you might not necessarily be attracted to compliments you and say, hey, sexy, or whatever, you cheesing ear to ear. You know what I'm saying? Like compliments hit different regardless who they coming from. So when you got a woman, regardless of what she looks like, when she's in this infatuation space of her attraction to you, you got to jump in that moment, man. You know?
No, that's
I have to touchy-feely, like women that are too. Do you feel like that is a thing? Like, because again, like you might feel like this is more inappropriate than I actually want it to be. Do you ever get those feelings? Like, was that ever a thing?
Yo, so seriously, man, you get desensitized, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, so I would say you got to look at dancing for a long period of time is almost like walking through a crowded nightclub. Like, people bumping you bumping them, or whatever the case may be, but the moment, the ambiance, you don't even stress it. Yeah. You know, right. Whereas a normal sexual scenario is like walking down the street, an empty street, and somebody bumps you. It's overt. It's like, yo, what's going on? But when you do this for a living, you don't even feel the touches. Like, I'm completely desensitized from that.
Shout out Reallyfe Street Starz, nigga. Move. Hey.